Fortune favors the brave. This was a saying that Crypto.com coined with Matt Damon in the latter parts of 2021's bull market. And right now, with the crypto market pulling back the way that it is, I feel that this particular phrase actually makes a lot more sense. Let's roll that intro and get right down into it. Hi and welcome back to another walk and talk video with me, Nick, here at Cheeky Crypto. And today we are going to be discussing the crypto market and the opportunity that is there today and potentially over the next coming months for crypto investors. Okay, so with the Bitcoin spot ETF and the Ethereum spot ETFs being approved, this essentially has put a big spotlight on the crypto market. Now, with all of the hype leading up into the Bitcoin spot ETFs going live, we have seen a significant decrease in the valuation of BTC. Simply because with all the hype building in and buying into it ahead of time, it was only ever going to go one way. It was going to become a sell the news event. Now, a lot of people disagreed with me over the last few weeks, potentially even month or so, when I was saying this, but for the most part, it's hard to have looked at the data, looked at the market, and thought anything other than it was likely to see a sell the news event. And I don't think we have really got that far into the correction just yet. I think that we're going to see significantly more bleeding out on the crypto market. We're going to see significant reductions in price, and that is a huge opportunity. Like I said, fortune favors the brave, and we are going to see significant increases in the crypto market, in my humble opinion, over the latter part of 2024 and early 2025. Right now, the market feels a lot like it did in kind of the early 2020 kind of stages. We had that initial surge through late part of 2019. We saw the corrections coming in 2020. The pandemic obviously crashed the market a lot harder, but ultimately when we came out of that, we saw significant surges to the upside. Now, we all know that Bitcoin halving event happened as well in 2020, as it is due to happen here in 2024. I've been through the analytics of Bitcoin's price action for the Bitcoin halving event, and we can see some interesting pieces of data when it comes to what our expectations should be for a Bitcoin Bitcoin halving event. Okay, and what we've seen historically in the data for Bitcoin is that when the year of the halving, so 2020, 2016, or even 2012, the first quarter that we saw for that year the halving event actually happened was usually quite negative. We saw a lot of selling pressure mounting. And again, we could argue this is cycle theory, it's just coincidence. We can argue all these various different things, but the facts of the matter were quite simple. If we look at the price action for the first quarter of the Bitcoin halving, the year of the Bitcoin halving, so 2012, 2016 and 2020, we have a 66.6% chance that here in 2024 that we're going to see a red quarter. That's actually going to stack up and shift those analytics ever so slightly more in the favor of quarter one being a sell-off quarter when it comes to the Bitcoin halving. Now, that's all great. It sounds, unfortunate that some people are probably not going to see that through, and they're going to maybe succumb to selling pressure. Maybe they're going to kind of sell at a losses and all those kind of things that we see in the space. The opportunity comes not before Bitcoin's halving, but after the halving, right? Now, the halving in itself, what is that? So essentially that is halving the rewards that miners can earn by validating transactions for Bitcoin. And for the most part, a lot of people say, well, that's really bullish for Bitcoin, right? There's going to be less Bitcoin coming into circulating supply. And they're right, but that isn't really the whole story. The problem that we have with the Bitcoin halving event is that there's already over 19.5 million BTC in circulation, which means we're only really talking about an additional 1.5 million, it's actually less than that, that's going to be mined over the Bitcoin's life cycle. That's what remains, right? And so Bitcoin's halving event has very little to do with supply-demand imbalances now, and more to do with hype, speculation, and eyeballs on BTC. Essentially, news media and live streamers are going to basically be focusing in on the Bitcoin halving as the next big thing. The next big thing that you should be bullish about Bitcoin and so drive up the price a little bit if they can. The reality is that usually the halving event is really not as exciting as people kind of anticipate, and the price action is usually relatively flat, stagnant, and sometimes just decreases, at least for the first couple of weeks after the actual event. So it's kind of like, nothing happened. Very much like the Bitcoin spot ETFs, if you will. But in the reality is that after the Bitcoin halving event, we actually start to see price recovering. We see price rallying up quite a bit. And that is the opportunity. That is where fortune favors the brave. That is the opportunity that is to come here in 2024. And I don't want people to forget it. They often think that I'm one of these kind of perma-bears and I've been calling $30,000 Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin spot ETFs are going to be a sell the news event. The things that I've been banging on about for such a long time, a lot of people have kind of getting fed up with. I've been fed up with it. I know you guys probably have been. But ultimately, these are the things that kind of label me up as a bit of a perma-bear, for sure. But ultimately, the opportunity is here. The opportunity that fortune favors the brave is coming, right? The opportunity is when Bitcoin pulls back. The opportunity is when the crypto market crashes, bleeds out, and when the fear is at the most and the FUD is circulating no end across Twitter. This is the opportunity. It's not to be afraid. It's not to kind of fear and to sell your assets in the idea that you might be able to buy back cheaper. This is the opportunity to work harder, to get as much fiat as you possibly can, to dump it into the market and dollar cost average over a period of time. Like I said, I think the first quarter is going to be the quarter where we see a decrease. We might see a little bit of a rebound in quarter two, and we might even see a bit of a collapse back in quarter three. But the common thing here, guys, is that when Bitcoin has pulled back and the crypto market has pulled back and altcoins have bled out and people do not want to be buying, is exactly when you should be buying, at least in my humble opinion. Now, obviously, I am no financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. All I can do is to give you my thoughts and opinions on the data as I personally see it. And for me, this is the opportunity not to be missed. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, in my humble opinion, because big money is coming into this space. The Bitcoin spot ETFs are just the very beginning, and we're going to see so much more over the coming months and years. So why don't you check out this video here where I'm discussing Bitcoin's technical analysis and where I think Bitcoin is heading next.